I'm not saying it's bad to own a house, but it's bad to own a house you can't afford.
How do you know if you can afford one?
Well, there's 3 parts to affording a house. You have to afford the down payment, you have to afford the monthly payment, and you have to afford the moving costs. I'm going to go start from the simplest one, which is the moving costs, because many people don't factor this in. When you buy a house, you got to move in. And I'm not talking about the closing costs. You might have to hire movers, which are expensive. You might have to upgrade your furniture, which is expensive. You might have to upgrade the house, which is expensive. Factor that in. Then I want to talk about your down payment. People don't like when I say this, but I don't say what I say to make friends. I say what I say to help people be better with money. If you want to afford the house, you have to have at least a 20% down payment. That way you actually have some equity, some skin in the game. That way you can actually afford the house. The third part is you have to afford the monthly payments. Now, every bank is going to have a different rule for you. Banks have like the 28% rule and these other rules.
Sorry, just on that last point, why do people not like it when you say that?
Because it's very hard to pay a 20% down payment. Housing is expensive. You want to buy a $500,000 house? You have to have $100,000 as a minimum for your down payment.
Okay.
And that's extra cash.
Got you.
Now, if we talk about the monthly costs, the simple way that I like to follow it is you have to have a system for yourself. You have to know how much money you are allowed to spend, how much money you need to be investing, and how much money you have to be saving every single month. Then just factor it in. So the way I like to look at it, a simple rule of thumb is something like a 75-15-10 plan, which says for every dollar that you earn from here on out, 75 cents is the maximum that you can spend. 15 cents is the minimum that you invest. 10 cents is the minimum that you save. Now, let's do the math. If you know that you make, let's call it $100,000 a year, that means the max you can spend out of the $100,000 is $75,000. So if out of that $75,000, you can afford your mortgage costs, you can afford your food, you can afford your vacations and lifestyle, then sure, you can afford it. But if you can't afford that, then you can't afford that mortgage. And the reason why I like to go by this rule is because some people are going to say, I can live in a small house, I just want an expensive car and some nice vacations. Other people are going to say, I want a beautiful home. I don't care about the car and vacations. So now you can factor it all in there. How much can you afford out of that 75% of what you make?
Do you think people even know how much money they spend?
No.
I was thinking, I wonder how many people listening right now know over the last 6 months the exact figure that they spend every single month.
Most people, statistically, are living paycheck to paycheck.
So they're basically spending everything?
Or more.
Okay.
78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which means I make some money and I spend all of it or more. There's a joke that I like to make, which is in the traditional Indian culture, people make $1 to spend 20 cents. In the traditional American culture, people make $1 to spend $2 through the help of lines of credit, credit cards, and other forms of debt. And the reason why, I'm going to take it a step back. I don't think you wanted me to go this way, but I'm going to go anywhere. Anyway, we live in what's called a credit-based economy, which means if you make $50,000 a year, you don't live off of $50,000 a year. At least most Americans don't. We live in what's called a credit-based economy, which means you have the ability to spend the $50,000 you earned plus debt. Because as you make more money, as you have a good job, you become more creditworthy. And so as you show the bank, hey, I made $50,000, they'll give you credit cards, they'll give you lines of credit, they'll give you whatever types of debt that they can. That way now you can go out and spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, because that's what grows the economy. The more money you spend, the richer somebody else gets. Next level, I want to remind you that I put together a free investing masterclass where I walk you through how you can get started as an investor and find hidden investment opportunities before everybody else. It's a completely free masterclass, and when you register, you'll also get access to Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, completely free, complimentary as a bonus. So if you want to get the investing masterclass and Market Briefs all for free, all you have to do is click the link down in the description below to get it. And so now when you live in this credit-based economy with no financial education, people spend, the economy grows, and most people have no idea what hit them.
Do you know what's really interesting is 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with one of my friends. It was actually, I did a podcast about finance recently, and in there I mentioned some of my friends, and then they messaged me on WhatsApp and we were having a chat in our group chat. And I, for the first time ever, one of them asked me to guess. We're very close friends. We talk about money, we talk about how much money we have, etc. They said, guess who has the most money in the group. So I went through and I think this is this person's net worth of my 5 best friends, and I think this is how much cash they have. Now, one of my friends who is very, what's the word? I guess frugal, lives a very, very simple life. As I was going through, I go, do you know what? This friend is this like high-flying guy, lives in this amazing apartment. This person has all these wonderful things. This person's been successful in business. This person's successful in crypto. But you know what? I bet my mate, and I won't say his name, I bet he's richer than everyone else in that chat. All of my other friends in the chat. And so I did my little prediction and I said, I bet you've got X figure. And he replied and said, this is my current cash position. He was richer than everyone in the chat in terms of cash combined. This guy lives so free. He lives in like a studio apartment. He never balls. He doesn't have like a fancy car, doesn't have fancy clothes. And he's richer than the entire lot of my friendship group. And I thought, God, there's something really important here in terms of, and it's so crazy if you know the context of what I'm saying, because I've got a friend in that chat who's built like a big business. I've got a friend, like everyone in that chat runs businesses, is successful, but they're living in different ways. And the one friend who runs the smallest business, who like probably has the least income, is the richest.
If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.